Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy and today I bring to you the message, if you can't snipe, use this. Yep, it's a day where I do somewhat of a weapon review / tips video, and we're focusing upon the Model 8. Why am I talking about this now though? Well, it's because I know there are so many people who avoid playing Recon in Battlefield 5 due to them just not getting on with the bolt action rifles. And that's a shame, because self-loading rifles are also available for the Recon class and they can be super deadly. If my videos on the Selbstlader 1906, the ZH29 and the RSC haven't convinced you to try the Recon class yet, then this is my final throw of the dice, and I've left the least sniper-esque weapon until last. Truly, if you can't snipe, this is as far away from it as you can get in the Recon class. Now today I'm going to keep things a little more brief on the talking, and instead show more gameplay afterwards, as per some recent suggestions in comments and such like. We'll see how that goes and if it creates a nice mix. So let's just jump right into this. For those of you who are unaware, the Model 8 is a self-loading rifle, so it's a semi-auto fire weapon. It fires at 180 rounds per minute without any specializations equipped. This is the joint fastest in the class, tied with the RSC. It also has the same damage profile as the RSC, meaning it kills in 2 shots at close range and 3 shots further out. So you're predominantly looking to do your damage at close to mid-range. As you can see, my idea of being the polar opposite of a traditional sniper is starting to come to the fore. This is a spammable rifle, capable of a very fast timed kill, which is much less reliant upon precision and more upon reaction times and map knowledge. And this only becomes more apparent if you select certain specializations, because that 180 rounds per minute can become 200 rounds per minute, making it the standout fastest firing weapon in the Recon class. Land 2 bullets at close range at that rate of fire and the enemy won't know what's hit them. You can be a very aggressive Recon with this weapon, and please absolutely totally ignore anyone who says Recons should only use bolt actions because it requires more skill or some other fallacy like that. Because on the other side, you have people complaining that most bolt action users are campers. You can't please everybody, so just do what works for you and try to help your team win. It's that simple. If running around with the fastest firing SLR in the game is the best way for you to play Recon effectively, then do it. You have my backing and that of anyone with any common sense. It's a game, and I tell you what, playing Recon this way can be a whole lot of fun. But keep in mind, if you're going to do this, you need to always consider how you're going to be most effective. This isn't an accurate long-range weapon where Recon is concerned. It also can't compete at long range for average time to kill against many other options. You have limited accuracy, you need 3 shots to kill from far out, and you only have 5 rounds to play with before you need to reload. So although you can go for range fights when you fancy, or if the circumstance calls for it, don't get drawn into using this weapon for that specific purpose. It isn't designed for it. You'll be limiting yourself and you'll get punished. Instead, try to move around the map in mostly close to mid-range areas where possible. Kill an enemy or 2 and grab cover to reload. Make use of your flares to give yourself the advantage when pushing aggressively. And remember that smoke is available for fast unseen getaways or approaches. Now the reload I just briefly mentioned is a bit of a pain. It's the main drawback of the weapon in my opinion, and it's a required balancer in order to make sure a Recon player can't just sprint around smashing anyone they see. So you will need to reload often due to the 5 round limit, and it is somewhat lengthy, requiring you inserting each bullet in individually. That is, if you use a scope, as I do. But if you choose to use iron sights or the aperture sight, you can use a much faster stripper clip reload when you've fired all 5 rounds. Something I highly recommend if you can use either of those 2 sight choices effectively. You'll reduce a huge downside of the Model 8 by a massive degree. You really should try to use it that way if you want to maximize what this weapon is good at. I use the mid-range scope because I'm used to it, and I use it for far more than just aiming at people, such as checking areas due to poor visibility and my less than stellar eyesight. But I still intend to get myself used to using the Model 8 with a different sight in future for that faster reload. And besides, we're looking to use the Model 8 at predominantly close to mid-range anyway, so a scope isn't necessary if we're purely focusing upon that. Now, full disclosure, I prefer other SLRs over the Model 8, purely because of my specific playstyle and desires. I'm aggressive and movement based, but I also like to use the scope to mitigate what I perceive to be poor visibility in BF5. I also enjoy being able to 2-tap at all ranges. For those reasons, I prefer the RSC for the pure run and gun stuff, as I can have a faster reload while still using a scope, and I prefer the ZH and the Selb overall due to their 2-tap consistency, which you can't get with the RSC or the Model 8. But these videos aren't created with myself in mind solely. They're to create an overall understanding and playbook for the vast array of different types of players who watch my content, and so the Model 8 being brought to the attention of some here will be of value. I know how easy it is to miss weapons, classes, or even entire playstyles out of our experiences purely through misconception, lack of time, or lack of knowledge. And so, even though the Model 8 has been in the game since release, I say if you don't use Recon because you can't snipe or don't like to play at a slower pace, use the Model 8 and see if it works for you. It just might open your eyes. And we should go over specializations. So for the footage you've watched, this is what I used. You can pause, print screen, or commit this graphic to memory should you wish. Now why do I use this setup? Well, I select recoil buffer at the top for easier landing of my second quick shot, or follow-up shots if I miss. This weapon centers around being spammable and having a fast time to kill, so I want to make hitting those shots as easy as possible, especially considering you only get 5 of them. Besides, I'm using a controller rather than a mouse, so recoil can be harder to manage. I would of course like to use quick aim, as I do on almost all other weapons, but for this specific one, recoil buffer feels more important. Again, PC players may find quick aim to be a more viable choice. Then for my middle selections, we have slings and swivels and trigger job. This combo allows me to switch weapons 15% faster and shoot sooner after sprinting. Plus I get that all important ability to fire at 200 RPM. I'm really mainly selecting this left side for that faster rate of fire. I think it's the only real reason to select the Model 8, otherwise you're wasting what it's capable of. But slings and swivels does tie into being aggressive and running around as a recon, because you're able to fire sooner after sprinting. Then at the bottom, I use light and stock to move 60% faster while aiming, because I hate moving slowly while aiming down sight. I strafe around a lot, and being slow doing that not only affects my aim, but makes me easier to kill as well. Of course, you should set your Model 8 up in the way that works best for you, but I do think this is one of the most clear-cut decision-making processes in the game where specializations are concerned. I don't think a 15% faster reload is worthwhile on any weapon at all, especially when selecting it on the Model 8 means you lose that faster rate of fire. However, enhanced grips at the bottom is worth considering if you want to hit fire a lot at close range, but I personally tend to ADS a lot of the time. And so that's my coverage of the Model 8 and why it's absolutely worth a look if you've been avoiding the Recon class. Let me know what you think of it and what your go-to Recon weapon is, or if you don't play Recon at all, why is that? Put it in the comments below. I'm going to let some footage play out here so you can take a look at what the weapon can do without me talking over it. If you want to stick around for that, then great. If not, then that's totally cool. Thank you for spending a few minutes here with me today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. I'll also throw up the board of awesome at the end of the video for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.